another episode of the I Learned podcast. I am so glad we are here. I was sitting here not really planning to make an episode because I've had a lot of connection already today and I still have some more later. So I'm, budgeting my energy, trying to. And yet the idea landed in my brain that there's a tarot card message that would be nice to plug in here. And so that's really all this episode is going to be. We'll see how long it takes to flip the cards and talk through them. But I also love that I am kind of free falling, like trust falling backwards into this reading. I had to try really hard, but I have not peeked at what the cards are. There are 3 of them, and obviously you can go see the picture on my Instagram at Owning Authenticity. But I have not looked yet at what the cards are, so I will be surprised and delighted right along with you. So I'm so excited to get right into this. I asked the cards as I was shuffling, and I held the intention. What message am I being inspired to share right now? And I shuffled until it felt right, and I pulled 3 cards out of the middle of the deck, one at a time. I found 3 different locations to pull 3 different cards. And yeah, I am super excited to see what they are. So without further ado, I'm flipping the first card. Ooh, interesting. It's Major Arcana 13, the Death and Rebirth card. Very fascinating. I am going to go ahead and flip all of them, and then we'll get into each card individually because they do so often work together. Okay, the second card is the 7 of Cups. Okay, and the third card, interesting, is the 9 of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to start by just reading out of the book like I do in my, semi-professional, mostly amateur way of reading the tarot cards. I like to go by what it says in the book first. If you really practice tarot, I know there are people out there who they're looking at the symbolism of the artistry on the cards, they're doing the numerology of the numbers, they're thinking about the suits and all of that. I mean, there's so much depth of knowledge of tarot and how all of this came to be, these 78 cards that deliver such divine messages in such awesome timing. It always seems like even 3 cards like this, where you have a Major Arcana, you have the 7 of Cups, and you have the 9 of Swords, not a whole lot of similarities jumping out at me right off the bat, and I guarantee by the time we read all 3 cards, it'll be like, oh my god, this is exactly the clarity that I needed in this moment. So I'm going to start with Major Arcana 13, Death and Rebirth. The keywords are cycles of transformation, rebirth, transition, change, new beliefs, newfound awareness, endings, a symbolic death, and initiation process. You are on the cusp of a massive transformation, and it's time to mourn the end of one phase while celebrating the birth of another. This energy of transmutation and rebirth signals a beautiful metamorphosis that will allow you to expand your consciousness and move closer to your own divine essence. A cycle in your life, be it a relationship, a belief, a career path, or an outdated plan for the future, is coming to an inevitable end. Deep breath in if this scares you, sweet light. This change is needed. Know that this card urges you to release what is already losing energy and to focus on things that are already gaining momentum. Welcome the possibility of something new and allow this phase to come to a graceful end. look toward the magic of this newfound horizon, because underneath its morbid exterior, the Death card heralds exciting times filled with brightness and so much potential. New light awaits. The affirmation is, I allow myself to let go of the past in order to add energy to new beginnings. Well, if that doesn't perfectly sum up the energy of my morning thus far, Dolly and I had such a satisfying conversation, let me tell you. So much, and I'm quoting the Book of Water, face-to-face truth-telling, and it was so bloody satisfying to say things out loud, to say things that maybe nobody's like excited to get to hear. Like, it's not really what you want to hear, but it's the real truth. And by shining a light on the real truth and accepting the real truth, like you can pivot, you can tap into that, and you can evolve, and you can decide to be different. And bringing that simple awareness to our real truth is so powerful. And so I definitely feel that cycle of transformation and metamorphosis in being willing to say your truth out loud is all it really takes to bring one cycle to an end and start a whole new cycle. Because a person who's willing to speak out loud what they want, what they believe they deserve, is a person who's going to live a completely different life compared to what they've been living. So yeah, it makes sense that we would be letting go of our old selves as we move more into knowing and relating and living from a place of our unique, authentic truth. Okay, so moving into the Seven of Cups, the keywords are fantasies, choices, wishful thinking, the allure of temptation on the path, needing to move forward without knowing the full picture, and options. When you daydream your way into the future, the options that you have in front of you can feel both under and overwhelming. The path from A to Z is often nebulous, and life can present itself like a game of chutes and ladders that brings you down only to lift you up. Your desire to choose the one correct and perfect path can further complicate and muddle your decision, because there is no way to know everything that will spill forth from the cup you choose. Use your intuition to decide, remembering that the temptation of shiny things can be illusory, while challenging paths will often hold unexpected opportunity. Ask your discerning heart what options honestly stand in front of you today, and even if things are not exactly as they seem, choosing that which you truly desire will offer the most useful stepping stone right now. And the affirmation is, my wildest imagination is a tool that I can use to inform my future in a down-to-earth way. There are so many pieces of this card that I want to touch on. The part that really stands out first and foremost is the use your intuition to decide, remembering that the temptation of shiny things can be illusory, while challenging paths will often hold unexpected opportunity. That reminds me a lot of the conversation Dolly and I had this morning, where basically at the end of it, it was very clear to both of us, like, this path is inviting healing for both of us. Like, there are elements about the relationship that are triggering, and in those triggerings, in those rising up of painful emotions, is an invitation to heal, and that staying in this is likely to continue bringing up healing that needs to happen. And like, do you really want to do that? Like, it's the harder path, no doubt about it. Like, facing your demons isn't easy. It's not fun per se, but it's satisfying and mission critical in a way that, like, you can't really get to the top of Mount Everest if you're not willing to climb a mountain, Like, what do you want? Do you want to live at the bottom of Mount Everest talking about how much you'd like to be up there? I mean, if that's where you're at, like, if you really want to be up there, then start climbing one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. And the other part that really stood out was when it said about like trying to choose the one correct and perfect path can further complicate and muddle your decision, because there's no way you can know everything that will spill forth from the cup you choose. And that, to me, like, instantly reminds me of Cecil K's, because I thought that what I wanted was to be an entrepreneur and have my business. And while that intention did manifest, Cecil K's came out of the vortex and into my reality. And a couple months later, I moved to a different state and received about $1 million in funding that I didn't have to come up with. And I worked for 8 months to remodel and open a grocery store. And then I had a grocery store. I had my business. And that was only the beginning of everything that unfolded when I chose that cup, because that introduced me to friendships and my painting hobby and my making journals hobby. And that's how I met Dolly. There's so many different things. 10 or more speaking opportunities that I got because of the work that I had done with Cecil K's. All of these different arms and legs that, now this grocery experience that I gained through Cecil K's has turned into the expertise that I need to do grocery consulting work. And so now I have consulting contracts and I'm making money working from home as a grocery consultant. Like, I did not know that all of these things were going to spill out of the cup. Even that, it's so easy to say that's how I met Dolly, but like, really, I had lived for 31 years of feeling like I think I'm a lesbian, and I had never indulged in it at all. And Dolly showed up with an application one day for a job at Cecil K's, and I hired her because I was so drawn to her. And one thing leads to another. When I spent time around her in a consistent way, it was undeniable that like this path is unfolding. We're leading to an inevitable course of this is what's happening. And now here we are over 2 years later, and like, never in a million years did I think me getting to explore my, like, what's the word I want? My latent sexuality, my preferences that I was not owning at all, that was going to fall out of the cup, where I also became an entrepreneur like I wanted, like that it was really just one cup, like it's really just one path of following your soul's desires, and that like everything breaks together in the end. There's a convergence of everything that we want. When we use our intuition to pick the cup, everything you want flows out of that cup. So that's my experience anyway. So from what I take from this so far with the Death card and now the Seven of Cups, it's very much like this is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. So where do we go from here? And that can be a challenging question to answer, but our intuition will tell us if we listen, if we allow that process to unfold, one little bite at a time, one conversation at a time, one, perfect song on the radio that just tells you what you need to know. Like, there's all kinds of ways that life can give us the signals that let us know we're on our path. So it's a process of trusting that it is unfolding and that you will allow it to unfold. And when your intuition sees that perfect cup, you'll be the first to know. So there's a practice of trusting in all of that. I am totally aware, and it is honestly still something I practice. It's an evolution. And I think that's a perfect segue into this last card, the Nine of Swords. The keywords are nightmares, worry, feelings of depression or anxiety, insomnia, fear, an opportunity to find courage, A time to focus on safety and the things that are going well in your life, which as far as I'm concerned is basically always. But here we are. What's keeping you up at night, sweet seer? This card suggests a time in your life when negative thoughts are gaining momentum and when you may find yourself expending too much energy worrying about the future. Perception is everything, so don't allow negative self-talk to trip you up. If a pessimistic mindset spirals wildly out of control, it can lead to anxiety, stress, or depression, even when your thoughts carry no truth. Are you imagining the worst instead of activating the best? Flip your perspective and send nurturing, loving thoughts to your situation to overcome any disturbing thoughts. Look to the light in your situation and notice that even the tiniest window of brightness can keep fear at bay. Use your light to expose the illusions and allow worries to dissipate and soften as your bad dreams are illuminated for what they really are. The affirmation is, I see my fears as the illusions that they are. And isn't that easier said than done? But oh my goodness, so worth it. And again, it comes back to, it's an opportunity to build our trust. It's an opportunity to remember that everything is always working out for us. And our intuition will guide us if we will allow it. You know, our connection to that higher power, source, God, infinite intelligence, the universe, whatever you want to call it, we are all connected back to that wisdom. And we know what we came here for, and we know how to get that job done. So it's just a matter of like letting our inner voice be a source of wisdom that we are willing to trust. And it's amazing. It's really fascinating how easy it is as humans to get distracted by shiny things that, you know, we came here to have experiences, and by golly, like, we're built to get drawn into anything that our focus lands on. Our attention is powerful and magnetic, and anything that we spend time thinking about, that's what we're creating in our world. So this last card, the Nine of Swords, like, when we spend our time in fear, we manifest not good things. You know, fear doesn't feel good, and when that energy gets to manifestation, it doesn't feel good. You know, like, we get what we think about, whether we want it or not. So might as well point the attention towards the things that we did want, that we did get. You know, like that card said, the Nine of Swords says, a time to focus on safety and the things that are going well in your life. Like, it's easy when we're at this death stage of like grieving our past self and letting go of our past self. Like, that can be a really scary thing because we don't necessarily know what's coming when we turn the page. And, you know, the Seven of Cups shows us like we have all these choices. Like, we could do anything. You could do lots of different things. But your intuition, that hell yes energy, it will light you up at the right opportunity. And you'll also know it's the right opportunity when all the pieces click into place. You know, like in that 5 months between quitting my job and opening Cecil K's, or I guess starting the work to open Cecil K's, there was 5 months where I was kind of in that stage of like, I've let go of my past self and I have no idea who my future self is, but I'm going to hang out here and I'm going to wait to see if she shows up, because I'm pretty sure she's going to. And she did. But in those 5 months of not knowing, I had other offers. I had other jobs that I interviewed for. I had other startups that I talked to, and none of it felt right. It all felt like something. And there was definitely an awareness that something was somewhat favorable to my nothing that I currently had going on, the unknown, the uncertainty. These opportunities were intriguing because I was excited for that to end, but that was all they had going for them. If I was really being honest with my intuition and my hell yes energy, these weren't it. And I mean, the opportunity, it was kind of mutual like that. Like it just didn't go forward. There just wasn't that spark. And with Cecil K's, it was an instant spark. It was an instant hell yes. And it was a hell yes for my business partner. And it, the funding came through and the building was there and on and on and on. And I mean, that was 3.5 years ago that we opened, and it's like chugging right along, revenue growing week after week after week after week. So, I mean, it's like thriving and under full management that doesn't include me and all of these things that, I mean, it's easy to get caught up when you're in the blank space of like, oh my God, what's next? And I think the point of this message is like, take a deep breath and realize that your intuition has brought you this far. We are already standing in a place where we are way better than we used to be. We already have a life around us that is full of blessings that once upon a time we wished for. So let's count those blessings. Like I also wanted to introduce, as I don't think I've ever talked about these, but focus wheels. And I learned about these from Abraham. This is an Abraham process, but the idea is simple. You put the thought that either you do believe it and you want to amplify that belief, you want to get stronger in that belief, or it could be something that you're wanting to manifest inside yourself. I'll give you a couple of examples. One is I use this a lot in that 5-month span of time, in that unknown space where I would write in the middle, I would write my soul's purpose. And then all around the outside of that wheel, you fill it in with the details, all the different sides and facets and details that you can think of like, what is my soul's purpose? Like, I want to do good in this world. That's something that I already knew about my soul's purpose. I love to learn. I'll be able to learn on this path because I love to learn. So I know that that'll be part of it. So I wrote that down, and I knew that my soul's purpose would include a lot of learning because I'm really passionate about that. It'll be fun and exciting and never boring. I knew that because that's how I am. Like, I can't stand to be bored. So I knew on my soul's path, I won't ever be bored. And so it's like that. Like, you fill it in with the details of like, what is this? What do you know about it? And by spending time in the general vicinity, we bring more clarity, we amplify the power of that subject in our realities, and the universe responds. The universe lines us up with the next logical step and the next logical step. So getting clear is like the whole point, the whole thing. And we can do a lot, even from the space of the unknown, from this blank slate space. We can get clear. We can do 20 focus wheels on, my soul's purpose, my dream job, my dream friends, my dream relationship, my dream home location, my dream lifestyle, my dream, on and on and on. Like, you can get as specific as you want in scripting your ideal reality and watching your physical reality. It takes a little bit of time to translate ideas into physical things, but not that much time, and the time's going to pass either way. So, deposit those focus wheels into your journal like deposits into a savings account, and watch them grow into a physical manifestation where your life looks just like what you wrote on the paper. The focus wheels I made 5 years ago, they've all come to fruition, all of them. And now I'm making new focus wheels from where I stand today. Like, what else could I clarify? What else do I want to really get stronger in? So this morning I made a focus wheel. In the middle, I put I am successful. And around the outside of that focus wheel, I filled it in with all of the ways that I feel successful from where I stand right here, right now. Not changing a thing, not who I'm becoming, not what I'm trying to grow into, and eventually I'll be good at that and then I'll be successful. No. Like, right now, here today, in this moment, how do I feel successful? And I filled up a whole page of things that, based on who I am right now, I do feel successful. And that there was so much relief in that. Like, it's just like it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get sucked into striving for meeting our next goal or accomplishing our next evolution. And I'm right there with you. I am as futuristic as they come. I am continuously improving everything I can get my hands on, my brain around. But I've also learned the value of presence. And present, it's called the present for a reason. Like, this now moment is all we ever have. And how we feel in this now moment is being amplified in the future. Like, what's coming to us in the future is an exact reflection of what we're doing right now. So I think this message is about being in that space of what our intuition wants, what our soul wants. And it's really a simple question if we're willing to face ourselves. And it's okay to not have the full picture, because like it says on the Seven of Cups, like, we don't ever know. You'll never know all the things that are going to spill out of the cup you choose. There's only being able to hear your intuition clearly and loudly enough to recognize when it's saying, hell yes. So I think I'll leave us right here. I appreciate you listening, as always, and I am so glad that I got the inspiration to share this message, because I think I'm the first one in line for needing to hear it. So I'm gonna listen back and receive it for myself and see what I can do to practice this. I feel some more focus wheels in my future. I feel this blank slate getting filled back in with new manifestations that suit me better than anything I've ever had in my life. And I'm very excited to see what's going to spill forth from these cups that I will choose in the future, and the ones that I've already chosen that continue to unfold around me. So thank you. Thank you for being here. I hope that this was valuable for you as well, always. And until next time, dear friends, you take good care of yourselves, and so will I.